Now, this is such a heartbreaking video, and I want to share it with you all, but I want to prepare you for what you're about to see, okay? Because what has happened and is happening more and more frequently around this country is a devastation like we have not yet seen before. Well, at least for some time, really, because this has happened in the past. And this is one of the things that I've shared with you before, is the fact that history does repeat itself. Now, I want you to watch as this YRC yellow truck driver straight up loses it in a video captioned, "This is what happens when you tell a driver that he's been working for Yellow Freight for over 30 years that they are no longer going to have a pension." A driver who says he worked for Yellow for 30 years loses it over hearing his pension could be gone. And as you watch this video, I want you to do a couple things for me, if you would, please. Number one, just try and imagine the pain this hardworking man is feeling right now after standing there and listening to more than likely a very highly paid C-suite company executive who will more than likely see no changes or disruptions to his pay, his salary, his benefits, his bonus, his retirement, his investments, or his pension plan. But stands there and informs the hardworking frontline employees and drivers that all they had been working towards for the past 3 decades is pretty much gone. And number two, please smash that like button. And if you're stopping by for the first time, consider subscribing to the channel. All right, now I'm gonna roll the clip, and I wanted you guys to know that I've edited portions of this for safety of our viewers, but I think that you can get the idea of what was said despite having censored some of the choice words and strong language that obviously came out of anger, frustration, and pure emotions that were being experienced by this man during this very tough and challenging time. All right, here goes the clip.
Exactly. It ain't you. It's these motherfuckers right here. It's the motherfuckers on top. But now we gotta do this again. We gotta do this again. Nobody tell me. There's nobody here tell me about I get emotional. Why you talk like that? That's fine. That's fine. You can do that. You don't know what I'm motherfucking. I want my ass off of this motherfucker. Exactly. I've been here 30-something motherfucking years. Yeah, I agree with you. 30-something years. You tell me I ain't got no motherfucking pension. Yeah, I agree. And nobody tell me to calm my ass down. Everybody tell me to calm down. Shut this is my motherfucking money y'all playing with. You're right, Dwayne.
So this is what I'll say.
You gonna tell me how to motherfucking, fuck that shit, man.
So this is what I'll say.
This shit.
Anytime the government,
Analyze that
anytime
shit.
the government bails out a corporation or gives some
Man, I can feel the anger from here. I can feel the pain the moment his heart just dropped and sunk into his chest, like literally being served a prison sentence for 30 years. But instead, you worked hard all of your life and gave your life to a company only to then have what they said that they would give you, a promise for your future and your retirement and your kids and your grandchildren's future, only to be taken away in the blink of an eye. Now, I think his name's Dwayne, or at least from what I heard in the video, and you can hear at the end of this viral clip that the messenger delivering the bad news begins to explain how a government bailout works. Not that his explanation will make it any better or make the problem go away, because I can assure you that every person in the room, man or woman, is not going to care or even bother to listen to whatever words are spoken next after hearing about their pensions and how they could be stripped away from them at any moment. So about a week and a half ago, Yellow withheld pensions and healthcare payments totaling $50 million, and by now should have been booted out of the Central States Pension Fund on July 23rd. Now, this is all according to the research that I've done so far. And Teamsters are threatening to go on strike starting tomorrow, July 24th, in response. Now, I will say and ask that if you or anyone you know is connected to Yellow Freight Company, truck driving, freight, YRC, please contact me. I'd love to have a conversation, a discussion, or maybe even bring you on and we can talk about this on a video. And in an attempt to buy them some time and prevent them from, or the company from completely falling apart, collapsing, and ultimately imploding from the inside out after receiving almost $1 billion taxpayer dollars from the government in the form of a bailout, Yellow says that they plan to pay the pension fund as soon as they can secure funding. But after having taken on so much loss and reaching out to borrow so much money, I don't think that I would put much faith in that empty promise, and I wouldn't trust their words as far as I could throw them. And to make matters worse, this was all just a big mistake, because the $700 million treasury loan made to Yellow Freight, YRC, well, it wasn't supposed to happen. It's a mistake. So you see, the Treasury Department's $700 million loan to Yellow Corp as part of a C-19 pandemic relief program back in 2020 was riddled with problems. And this is according to a congressional report released last week. Now, I do have some notes here that I'm reading to you guys so I don't lose track here, but I want you all to hear this. Now, also citing significant risk to taxpayers because of Treasury's equity and debt stakes in the beleaguered LTL carrier, less than a truckload LTL carrier. And the report recommends the government immediately explore selling its 15.9 million shares of Yellow stock by January 1 and selling its loan holdings before the loan's September 30, 2024 maturity date. And the Congressional Oversight Committee, which authorized the report, recommended Congress not create similar open-ended sector-specific loan programs like Yellow's in the future, as it created a risky taxpayer bailout. And the hits just keep on coming. So if we break this down in layman's terms, it seems to me that, number one, the alternative would have been for the company to go bankrupt. And not only would these workers and drivers and employees lose their pensions after 30 years, but they too would also be out of a job and unemployed on top of it all. And secondly, number two, the government is continuing to meddle in private sector business and will eventually overextend their reach and impose their own authority on owning most of this country, and in turn the people living here and looking for work and gainful employment. And I want to share with you more on the subject, but first I want to read the comments left on this video and how I think we are all feeling right now. So I got one here that says, I bet management doesn't lose their pension. You can believe that. Union over there doing what they do best, lie and make excuses. Now, I know that this comment probably is going to rub a lot of people the wrong way, because I get mixed responses and reactions from unions, as well as how good they are for their union members and the dues that they pay in, or potentially how corrupt these unions are and how they're not necessarily really doing their job to benefit the members who are paying in. But comment down below. I love to get your take on it. Experience from real boots on the ground, insider intel. I've never been a part of a union, so I cannot speak from experience. So if you have any experience, please share with us all. 30 hard years of paying into this pension and it's gone. Sad face emojis. This guy is being nice about it. 30 years and then poof, pension is gone. Yeah, I don't think I'd be so nice about it. And he's 100% right. Angry, censored emoji faces. And I bet the CEO isn't losing his pension or any pay. We're going to talk about that in a second. 30 plus years of a person's life beyond not fair. Super angry, red, frustrated emoji faces. All right, so get this. The Congressional Oversight Commission raised questions about whether Yellow should have been eligible to receive the money, which the company used to cover short-term contractual obligations. Get this, payments for pensions and health care, and to purchase trailers and tractors. Wait a minute, wait. Hold up, wait, what? So you're telling me that the money was loaned to the company to be used to cover payments for pensions, but instead they lied and took everyone's pensions away instead? These greedy crooks. Now we got U.S. Representative French Hill, the sole author of the report, in which said in a statement, the findings verified Yellow should have never received a $700 million taxpayer bailout from the Treasury. And the company objected to that conclusion in an emailed statement. At the time of the loan, Yellow provided LTL services to the Department of Defense and hauled for the Departments of Energy and Homeland Security, including Customs and Border Protection. Well, how convenient. It's a clever play on their part. Now, this loan and I quote, enabled our nearly 100-year-old company to continue critical pickup and delivery operations during the height of the pandemic. And a Yellow spokesperson also said that in doing so, 30,000 employees kept their jobs and family health benefits during a period of great uncertainty in America, end quote. But the report calls out Treasury and Defense Department missteps in deeming Yellow as critical to maintaining national security and in executing the loan to Yellow. It also sheds further light on the loan's approval process. Now, if you ask me, this doesn't bode well for our government and ultimately how they let so much money slip away by mistake. And this may be the absolute worst part. The report again raised a commission concern about the company's spending on congressional lobbying, which was about $570,000 in 2020, ultimately making friends. Now, the commission noted the correlation between lobbying the government and Yellow's ability to secure $700 million in loans. And the report also said that the Treasury confirmed that several senators and members of Congress sent letters to Treasury urging them to provide Yellow a loan. Remember, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And ultimately, Yellow knows the right people, and they've got them in their back pocket. And I can pretty much guarantee and assure that those people will benefit from that $700 million loan one way or another. And we've talked about this before. Now, here's the best part. Here we go. While the Defense Department was initially prepared to recommend Yellow's certification as critical to maintaining national security, it changed its recommendation due to a Justice Department lawsuit alleging, get this, this is why I feel that there's something really wrong here, okay? It says that the Justice Department lawsuit alleged that Yellow overbilled its services to defense for years. You can't make this stuff up. Shady and corrupt. One day after Treasury was notified of the plan to change the recommendation, the department requested an urgent call with then Defense Secretary Mark Esper, which took place on June 26, 2020. And Esper certified Yellow as critical to maintaining national security that same day. And Treasury finalized the loan less than 2 weeks later. Now, I need to do a little bit further investigation and research on this former Defense Secretary Mark Esper. Clever how this timing works out. Now, it says that Yellow has paid $56.8 million in interest on the loan, and its planned sale of 28 excess terminals and consolidation of its separate operating companies will enable Yellow to refinance its debt and fully repay the CARES Act loan in September of 2024 when it's due. And in his statement, U.S. Representative French Hill argued that the carrier had long-standing financial troubles before the pandemic and was not critical to maintaining national security, given it was not the sole provider of such services. And Yellow's reckless, as I quote, Yellow's reckless actions to use taxpayer funds on expenditures unrelated to the purpose of the loan program is exactly why Congress needs to ensure that there are better guardrails as to where future Treasury loans are being distributed and how the loans are being used. Yet, somehow, Yellow still managed to secure the bag. And this is all part of the problem, you see, because Yellow in 2020 had already spent almost $600,000 in lobbying. Therefore, today receiving, or even just shortly after that, receiving $700 million. Where do you think that money is then going to be redistributed to? Those that benefit the most. And I can guarantee and assure you that it is not the employees of the company. Particularly and specifically those seen in the video losing their ever-loving mind after they realized that after 30 years, they had nothing. Their pensions, although meager, minor in comparison to the grand scheme of things, will be lost and gone, while the higher-ups, the executives, the folks in charge, the ones behind the scenes pulling the strings, are playing with house money to the tune of hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, billions with a B. And this is now producing headlines of Yellow Corporation fails to pay into pension fund, triggering a possible strike. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, this could be very, very bad. Not quite as bad as the railroad strike that we potentially would have faced a short while ago. But again, I think this is just the beginning. This is scratching the surface. This is the tip of the iceberg. This is the first push over of the domino, and it's only going to get worse on so many levels. But it seems as though that there's way more to this story than we all know, or at least that they care to share. So I want you guys to do me a favor. Protect yourself. Protect your family. Protect your money. Protect your savings, your investments, your retirement, your passive income. Protect everything. And hit me up on Patreon if you want to chat.